What's up everyone, Zero here. Welcome back to the channel. I apologize that I haven't been keeping up with my upload schedule as much as I usually do, but I want to preface this video just by saying that when I do upload videos, I don't want them just to be half-assed or bait videos. I'd rather post something that's relevant and that I'm able to put the time into, and lately I've just been so busy with work and other real life stuff that I haven't been able to put as much attention as I'd like to into my channel. I didn't want to just put out videos that were short and just updating you guys, because there's just so much saturation when it comes to updating you guys on things like Grinding Gear Games posts and stuff. So I apologize, but at the same time, like, I want to put out quality videos for you guys, so I hope you do appreciate that. I did want to put out a League Start video for you guys, and what I'm going to do is something that's kind of a classic for League Start. I'm going to do Wave of Conviction with a little bit of a twist. So we are going to use golems, even though Liege the Primordial is getting a nerf the next league. It's still going to be 50% increased buffs, which is still going to be really powerful, especially when you combine it with Golem Commander. Now, there's a bunch of ways that you can scale this in the end game. You can get the primordial jewels that give increased buff effect of the golems, and you can kind of manipulate this skill tree to spec into that a little bit further if you really feel like doing so. But the way I put together this League Starter, it's very, very tanky. It has a ton of life. As you can see here, it has 5k life. Right, it's 13k Fizz max hit, 32k, 34k for Elemental and Chaos. Right now it's sitting at about 2 million DPS, 1.7 Ignite DPS for the Wave of Conviction. We are using Flame Surge for the single target. You can use Vol Flame Blast instead if you prefer it. I did add a note section to here. It doesn't have too much that's in depth, and there's no crafting stuff in here or anything, because all the stuff is really, really straightforward. But I did put some little tips that I use to try to like farm early currency, you know, when to attack the lab. So if you're brand new to Path of Exile 1 this league, you definitely want to check out the notes section. It really help you out a little bit. Now, in my mind, a proper League Starter requires no unique items. But I did add Ember Wake in here, but this is not necessary. You do not need this. You will still be able to get through maps and your Void Stones with this build without this unique. So I'm just saying, I just added this in here just in case. This is a very easy item to acquire, especially now with asynchronous trade. All of this stuff is going to be really easy to get. You're not going to have to message people, wait, and all that. But this one is very, very cheap. So what's the build? The build's a Wave of Conviction, Golem Elementalist. It uses Wave of Conviction for clear, and it uses Flame Surge hooked up to Arcanist Brand, Combustion, and Flammability for single target. What Flame Surge does is it creates burning ground underneath the enemy, which increases the damage of the ignite on the enemy. Because as you see here, Flame Surge cannot ignite itself, but you can use Flame Surge of Combusting, and this can ignite. And this is it's a lot better of an option, but I didn't want to put it in here so that you guys thought you had to have it. You do not need that. I put that in the notes section as well. You can use regular Flame Surge and get by just fine. It does use Flame Golem, Chaos Golem, Lightning Golem, and Stone Golem. The Flame Golem's obviously going to give you a fat amount of increased damage and increased area of effect. The Chaos Golem is going to give you dot multi and some chaos resistance. The Lightning Golem is going to give you increased attack and cast speed. So even though we are using Eldritch Battery, we will still benefit from the increased cast speed. And we are using Stone Golem because this is going to give us a bunch of life regeneration on top of increased defenses. This is huge. As far as the Heralds go, we are using Herald of Ash to get that overkill and burning damage, and Herald of Purity to get the more fizz damage. This is also a gigantic damage buff for us. Determination, this is just armor, flat armor. Really helps for survivability. And then we are going Tempest Shield. This is helping us reach max block. On the weapon, I have Steel Skin hooked up to automation, and then Flesh and Stone is just going to be 20% less damage taken. So it's a flat 20% physical damage reduction. This is very, very powerful. And then for our movement skill, we are using Frostblink Wintry Blast with faster casting. And then whenever we use this, we are going to get Arcane Surge, which is going to give us additional cast speed. As far as the items go, I wanted to make it very, very simple to where you're not relying on like T0 uniques or anything like that. On the final iteration of the items, like as you can see here, I did second lab, first lab, and then 1 through 33. On the final iteration, I did put a lot of stuff that's min-maxed. So you obviously don't have to hit this to do well with this build, but this is just something to aspire to get to. I did a section for the tree, 1 through 33, first lab, second lab, third lab. That's for the tree. I did the same thing for the skills and for the items. So if you follow this POB, it will walk you all the way from the very, very beginning of the build all the way into maps and your void stones. So link to the POB will be in the description for you guys. And if you want to follow me along while I'm pushing this build into the end game, we can get up to like around 15 million DPS with this build with enough investment. So I will obviously post updates just like I usually do with like the PoE2 leagues and stuff. I will update you guys on any good stuff I find for this build. If there's some broken stuff with the bloodline ascendancies we can use, I'll update you guys with that. I wanted to just get this out before league starts so you guys can follow along if you wish. And I wish you guys all a happy league start. And if you guys do celebrate, happy Halloween. Stay tuned. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.